Astrology Tag. If you're interested in doing this, please feel free to. I tag anyone who's interested. So, Astrology Tag, there's 12 questions. The first is, what is your sign, and do you know your rising sign and your moon sign? Yes, I do. I have my whole birth chart memorized off by heart. I am a Leo with a Libra rising and a Cancer moon. So I'm Leo, but I'm kind of tempered a little bit by having a Libra rising, so I'm not so in your face as some Leos, and a Cancer moon, so I have like a strong sort of like emotional and sort of intuitive side. Favorite qualities about your sign. Favorite thing about being Leo is we're very sort of outgoing, we're comfortable with like performing and standing in front of people. We're known to be very generous and, very creative. So I really love being Leo. I think it's the best sign, but I think everyone thinks their sign is the best, which is awesome, I think. So that's my favorite thing about being a Leo. Your least favorite qualities about our sign. We can be bossy. We can be really a lot about ourselves, a lot of ego, and also we're very sensitive. And a lot of people don't know this, but we take criticism very hard and we tend to withdraw a little bit if we're criticized. And this is also because I have Cancer moon that just emphasizes that anymore. But we're actually like, even though we may come across as like very confident, we're actually like very sensitive about things. How did you get into astrology? So I was interested in astrology as a kid when I found out, what my sign was because I had this little book about lions, and then at the end it was talking about the sign of Leo, and I was like, oh, I'm born between those dates, I'm a Leo. So then I got curious about the other things, and I just was always curious about that kind of stuff, like about like reading cards and astrology and all that kind of stuff. I was always into things like ghosts and the occult and all sorts of stuff. So I got interested in it as a kid, and then when I was a teenager, I remember I bought a book at like this, somebody was having like a garage sale or something, and it was like this old astrology book about the different signs, and I remember just reading that and being totally fascinated by it. And then when I got into university and stuff, I started like learning it on the side, and then I started doing people's birth charts, and it just kind of exploded from there. What else? Can you guess other people's signs, and what signs are easiest to guess? I'm reasonably okay at guessing other people's signs. I'm really good at spotting Scorpios for some reason. I can spot a Scorpio from a mile away. And I'm good at water signs and fire signs. I can usually tell kind of what, if somebody's like an earth, an air, water, or fire. The earth sign, sometimes I have trouble when I meet someone differentiating, but astrology is a lot more complex than just your sun sign. So somebody could be like, they could be an Aries, but if they have a lot of Taurus in them, they'll, with their other planets, they'll act more like a Taurus in a lot of situations. So, it's a lot more complicated to try to guess a sun sign, but I'm okay at it. What is your favorite sign and why? I like my sign the best, Leos. I love fire signs. I always get along with fire signs. I also get along reasonably well with Cancers. I get along well with Libras, and I get along really well with Aquariuses. But I don't think there's any bad sign out there. I mean, I have friends probably in every sign, and we get along just fine. Have you ever had a birth chart read? Well, I do birth charts, so yes. I did my own birth chart. I kind of know it off by heart, like I said, so I'm pretty well versed with my birth chart. Actually, I compare like what's going on in the sky every day to what's going on my chart, so I'm like, know what's going on with that. Do you tend to date certain signs or have crushes on certain signs? When I was younger and kind of like in the dating world and stuff, I dated a lot of fire signs. Being a Leo, there's only like, I think one other Leo I dated. Like Leos, because we always want to be like the star, we don't always date each other very well, but I dated Aries and Sagittarius. We got along really well, and I get along really great with Aquariuses, which are on the opposite side of the wheel. So dated a lot of those. It's funny, I always gravitated towards fire signs or Aquarius, not a lot of the other signs. Do you have certain signs as friends? Best friends. My best friend is another Leo. She's like a Leo with some Virgo in her, but she's another Leo is my best friend. And my other friends are a lot of water. I have a lot of Cancer, a lot of friends who are Cancers. And I wonder if it's because like I have Cancer moon that I kind of really get along with them. So those are the two like Cancers I really get along with. I have some Virgo friends too. I have friends that are Aries. I have friends that are Sagittarius. Again, like the fire signs, I tend to be like good friends with. Cancers, Virgos, Libras. I'm also a really good friend with Libras because Libra rising, but also Leos and Libras get along like really well. So lots of friends in those kind of areas. Weirdest date with a sign. I don't think anybody really, you know, I dated once a guy that was Capricorn, and Capricorn and Leo don't really quite match, but he was lovely, and I don't have anything bad to say about him. And I don't think there's any particular sign. I think the only sign that I would be leery of dating, and I wouldn't like say no entirely, you know, if I was in the dating world, is Scorpio. I don't generally get along very well with Scorpios. I mean, there are some that are exceptions for sure, but Leos and Scorpios clash because we're both fixed signs, we're both stubborn, and Leos are very like in your face, out there, what you see is what you get. We're very honest, and Scorpios are very secretive, and they're hard to read. They're very deep, and it just clashes a lot. So I think that if I was in the dating world, I would be reluctant to date a Scorpio, or somebody that has Venus in Scorpio or Mars in Scorpio. A little bit reluctant about that. I won't say I rule it out entirely, but I am cautious of Scorpios. What signs did you have your best relationship with? So my current partner is an Aquarius, and I have great relationships with Aquariuses. My partner is like awesome. We really match each other perfectly. Our charts are somewhat similar in some ways, and so we get along very, very well and understand each other very well. So Aquarius is definitely my best relationship so far. And favorite astrology sources. So astrology sources, there are so many great ones. So there's a site called astro.com, which is amazing, and you should go to it. And you punch in your birthday, your time of birth, the town you were born in. It'll bring up your birth chart. It'll also give you a daily horoscope of what's going on. And it's not just your sun sign, it's based on your specific chart. So it might say something like, you know, Mercury is moving into your 6th house today, so it means this. So you can get a day-to-day horoscope that is just for you, and it's an amazing site, so I totally recommend go over and get that. There's also www.alabe.com, A-L-A-B-E, where you can see what's going on in the sky. It pulls up a chart for what's going on right now. That's another great resource as well. I believe you can get free birth charts on that one as well. And then there's some apps. There's Celeste, which shows you again, what's going on in the sky right now. Pardon me. There's also Time Passages, which you can get a free version. There's a paid version. The paid version is quite expensive. I use the free version. Again, it shows you what's in the sky, but it shows you the aspects and what they all mean and stuff. So if you really want to get into stuff, I would totally recommend that app. As for books, I have here, what do I have here? Astrology for Dummies, which is an amazing book. If you're looking at, looking at your birth chart and trying to figure out what it means. I also have Predicting Events with Astrology, which is good for looking at things like what's going on in the heavens and trying to predict things. I have another book about predictive astrology as well by Llewellyn, published by Llewellyn. And those I think are... And then there's also The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need, which is a classic, and it's amazing. So if you're interested at all in getting into astrology, I would recommend those books. I would say leave the predicting stuff for later. Get a really solid handle on birth charts before you move into that, because that forms the basis of so many things before you get into transits. So that's my thing about astrology. I apologize to any Scorpios. I hope no one's offended. Me and Scorpios have sometimes had clashes, but I have had good friends that are Scorpios as well. So, I'm not saying all Scorpios or anything. I'm just saying I've had some intense encounters with Scorpios in my life, but they're intense people and I have to remember that. So anyway, that is my astrology tag. If you are interested in doing it yourself, I would love to see it. Let me know, like and subscribe. I'll talk to you all later.